Engineering HSI really began by just wanting to give people a break, and that meant giving them a period of time in training. We then found that we could give them an accreditation, but the most important thing for the host site was that what were they going to get out of this? And I think we felt that they had to get someone who was of a practical benefit. And the reality is that that has worked out so well that they've then been able to go on and offer them full-time employment.
The whole object of this scheme is to bring young people into engineering in such a way that we can maintain the skills for the future, for future generations to enjoy the traditional engineering that has made this country great.
The scheme's offered really a chance to get involved with heritage engineering and learn skills. Like I've learned machining skills, fitting skills, and I've learned how to weld and different things properly. So yeah, it's been a real eye-opener and it's been worthwhile. And I've got a job at the end of it, and it's fantastic.
You meet some very, very nice people on this job. You meet some very keen students, you meet some very keen and enthusiastic placement providers. And when that all gels together and you're just coordinating it from the sidelines, I suppose, that gives you a great deal of self-satisfaction.
I come to see and get restorations and replicas on placement from the Dole, and I ended up staying on as a volunteer and getting this placement on the HSI, which is what I'm on now and what I'm doing my training as. It's great, I love it. It's over the moon, it's the best work, you know, it's because you're not doing the same thing every day, it's always something different.
What it's given me is a chance to do something that I never thought I would, because I used to work as an IT technician before this, a boring desk job. And it's given me the chance to get out in the field, get my hands dirty and learn skills that only a handful of people in the country have now.
I was on the dole previously for roughly 18 months. The job centre helped me out with the application form to restore a car from what it came in as. And what it goes out as is two totally different things. And it's fantastic when they're finished.
When I first started, I didn't actually have any engineering skills at all. I volunteered on the railway, but not learned that many skills. So it was the ability to learn a lot of engineering skills in a short space of time to be able to complete the job properly.
Always loved like making stuff in my shed back at home. Had a little lathe. This is just that on a bigger scale. I feel lucky to kind of been given this opportunity to kind of experience it really. So these are all skills that are dying, unfortunately, but the scheme is keeping them alive. The likes of museums like this, so people can enjoy it for the future, really.
I originally worked at a supermarket beforehand. I got my level 2 welding and a few other workshop skills and plenty of track work engineering skills as well. And then went on to do a track work apprenticeship when I finished with the HSI, and then went on to end up running a yard down south.
I feel very privileged to be one of 2 people who have got to do this in the whole of the North East. We have the skills now, having spent 2 years here, and we've learnt so much off everyone around us.
As well as giving them qualifications, it's giving them a leg up in their career. So one of our trainees, Becky Johnson, is now an apprentice at York Minster, and I got an email from her last night saying that she does a job that she loves, and it was the HSI that gave her the opportunity to do something she loves. Well, how many people can say that?
I found out about the HSI by chance when I contacted the railway, and seemed a really great opportunity to learn some different engineering skills that are important for our heritage, and I could also have a chance to make a really positive impact on our community here in Alston.
Working with the youngsters, there's been some really inspiring stories from them coming through. You know, people with no qualifications, dyslexic, they cannot think they can get on, and all of a sudden you just see them click, and they then suddenly, you know, they've got a qualification, they've got a job, and it's great.
Schemes like this are fantastic because it gives young people opportunities. It allows them to train in places they wouldn't otherwise get the chance to train. It is going to enable a heritage skill that is going to be lost to be maintained and passed on to youngsters.
Without the EHSI scheme, I wouldn't have been able to do this job, and I'm very lucky to have the opportunity to do it.
It brings people who are actually very much interested in heritage engineering. The fact that they really enjoy the sort of work and interested is a big plus.
It put a new dimension into what we're doing. We're now not only restoring some very, very important vehicles and very important pieces of history, but we're passing on the skills, and more than passing on the skills, we're passing on the spark that people want to be involved with this and want to do it and value it.
It's nice to think that the skills you've learned and you've picked up in the past, you can pass on to another generation. And the skills you give to them when they're finished on the HSI course, they'll be able to take it away, and hopefully the skills they've learned here, they'll be able to pass on to other younger people.
When we began engineering HSI, we had to look for people who could take on full-time trainees, and that meant having employed staff and the resources to support them. But a lot of people that work within the engineering heritage sector don't have that. So we had to adapt and flex so that people who could take on either part-time trainees who had family commitments or other things, as well as organisations that perhaps were largely volunteer run, we could somehow matchmake it and make this thing work.
We got involved in it because we were keen to have apprenticeships, because we recognised that this is a dying art. But the local apprenticeship, the college, just couldn't actually match. We had a mismatch between what we could provide here as experience and what they provided on their courses. So really I was looking around and happened upon the Heritage Lottery funded scheme, which was a godsend for us.
The people that have employed or acted as mentors to the students have been absolutely magnificent, I have to say that. They've passed on their skills in what is a very generous-hearted sort of way, but quite clearly they've benefited from it too. I mean, things have been restored that would not have been restored. So I think it's a two-way process. Marvellous that they should do such things, and they deserve the greatest credit and gratitude, but I think they'll have got something out of it themselves as well.
I think the interesting thing is all the organisations that took part really had to take a gamble, because taking on a trainee, you're putting in a lot of effort and your own time and energy into training them, and you don't know whether they're going to stay, you don't know if they're going to be any good or not. But they all took that risk and joined the scheme. They were persuaded it was worth doing for the good of the sector, and I think so many of them got so much more back from that, because actually there's been a sort of a reciprocity between the trainees and the placement providers, where each has valued the other really fully. And what that's led to is some amazing projects happening, and people really going on to develop, hopefully, careers in the sector on the back of that excellent relationship.
The whole experience has been very practical, and most of what we're doing here is hands-on. It's sort of using tools. We use machinery and we use sort of electric tools as well. It speeds stuff up, but also got a good grounding in hand tools, and sort of it's been really nice being part of a team of people who are really skilled and hearing people's different experiences and tales and stories.
It's not like going to college, sitting in a classroom for 8-9 hours a day. You're in the workshop learning what you're doing firsthand rather than out of a textbook.
I've come out with a level 3 in welding and fabrication, which I've never had before, which I'm sure will come in handy down along the route somewhere. And also I've learned a lot more skills with traction engines and boilers. Before I knew all the sort of mechanical side of it, but now I've learned how the boilers work, and what sort of stresses being caused, how you can resolve the problems and how basically to fix them.
I couldn't do it without the HSI. The railway has a lot of older people working in these jobs that are close to retirement age, and there's maybe 4 or 5 apprentices on the whole railway that are learning these skills in the various different departments. It was a privilege to be one of the very few that's got to learn it.
We'll get Kevin and John coming down, you can chat to them and they are explaining to you and the lads here what HSI involved in other places, and it gives you a connection between what we do and HSI and what they do.
I've had a lot of support of obviously the coordinators and off Andy, who really supported us and obviously helping us get into blacksmithing and obviously giving us advice on obviously starting up business and how obviously I can move the company forward.
It's nice to know that both we and the trainees have the backup. We regularly have a visit from one member who walks in the door, puts his overalls on and gets stuck in. It's just a very nice atmosphere. Everybody helps everybody else.
Kevin Malone and John Stellan have come in and just helped us out loads with it. Like, really helped us see, because I'm dyslexic, so I'm not too good with the paperwork side.
The tourist industry, the heritage industry is vast, and increasingly it's not just stuff in glass boxes. It's stuff that has to move and stuff that has to stay up and be walked on. And so if you can't do it, then you're wasting. You're just ruining something which is absolutely vital to us.
It's given us like a new lease on life. It's given us something that I can be proud of. Like when a train carriage goes away to a museum and that, and I can go there in future times with maybe my kids or my nieces and nephews, and say I had something to do with that. It's really good. Like,
there are too many skills out there that are dying with the people that know them, and those skills need to be passed on. You don't necessarily learn the skills whilst you're here, you absorb them while you're on placement.
Well, I have been offered a job here full time, so hopefully I can carry on with me boiler side and sort of build from strength to strength with it all, really.
At the end of the training, I was very pleased to be offered the position of railway millwright, working within this new company that we've formed to tackle engineering problems, in particular for the heritage sector.
For the host sites, it also means that they've got more confidence that they can tackle bigger jobs and that they can use those extra resources.
We've set up a separate little business now, which is called the MBR Engineering Services. They are going to be the keys to this business, how well it does and how it moves on. So it's been a great opportunity for them, and basically the business is centred around them.
It's given me a rather unique job, to be honest. There can't be many people in the country that do what I do and get paid for it as well.
I would like to use the skills I've learned to carry on doing what I'm doing, repairing cars, especially classic cars, and carry on with this career path into the future.
Their skills, their knowledge base, their confidence has just grown. Rob has now been with us for a further 6 months or so, and he's really sort of starting to fly on his own. It's amazing.
The legacy of the project really is that projects have beginnings and ends. Funding comes, we deliver something, then we have to end. Is that the real legacy is the people and the skills that they've acquired, because that doesn't end with the project. That is an investment in them and their ability either to work within the heritage engineering sector or even to go into mainstream engineering or other forms of employment.
It's given me a job. I've now, after my apprenticeship, I've been took on by Rusty Bugs. So I've got a job out of it and learned new skills previously from what I didn't have.
These skills are going to stay with them right through their careers. So on one level, we've created a cohort of people who will be around for the next 30, 40 years maintaining these incredible collections. But I think much more than that, I hope we've created a legacy across all the partner organisations who will want to work together in the future, really because they'll see the benefit of that partnership working, which means that hopefully as a result of this scheme, that sort of engineering heritage really will be much safer for the next 40 years than it's been for the last 20 or 30.
It's great now because I feel like I've got a realistic portfolio to present to people. I've got my qualification and I've got, evidence of being able to do these skills, as well as knowing that I can now.
I do hope to work in the heritage sector after the HSI, and I feel like the HSI have really supported me and given me those skills. The insight, the knowledge, and the industry, how it works, it's great.
The people who have been through the system will find themselves in huge demand. I mean, they're going to be, if they're as good as they look as if they are, then they're going to be in huge demand. I pray, really, that some sort of national system will be developed, because it's necessary, and the skills are there to keep it, to set it up and to keep it running. So I'm just hoping that something will happen in the future.
There's not many people that are trained in these skills that we're being trained in. I think the age difference between me and my mentor is 40 plus years. So obviously in that time scale, there's not been very many people trained, and people should start getting into it, because before long all this stuff's not going to be around, And if there's no one around to preserve it and that, what's going to happen then?
It's refreshing to know that the younger generations, they really are keen, they really do want to do this, and they really do want to see this stuff saved. And that's a good feeling.
All in all, it's been a great scheme and we're very grateful to the HSI. It's really given us a big opportunity and it's going to give a big opportunity for the young people in Scarborough. Thanks very much.